Welcome to episode 10 of AI.COOKING, a podcast about artificial intelligence.
Howdy, meatbags. Welcome to AI.COOKING. Episode 10, entitled AutoML, a podcast about artificial intelligence. I am Gwoof the Cock from the Kingdom of Kent, frontlines of Kexit, who brings you news about artificial intelligence from August 2021 and AI Knowledge Corner. Okay, that's enough of that. Silence, please, children. Sit down. Thank you. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your courage. Well, I haven't had much good luck with my surgery. Hasn't happened yet. The treatment that I booked and paid for was meant to be last Friday, but unfortunately, the doctor who was administering the treatment, he caught COVID and so had to cancel it. But never fear, for it is booked for tomorrow in a different location, but nonetheless, we'll get it done. And done it will get. Right, let's move on. Firstly, let's talk news. The main news item about artificial intelligence in recent weeks is not actually a news item per se, but an article in Financial Times by Richard Waters. This breathtaking article is entitled "Emergent AI Capabilities Mean It Might Be Time to Start Worrying." We don't want to quote it verbatim too much, so let's talk about this article descriptively. This article talks about unexpected phenomena. Nowadays, corporations are building, or rather creating via training, bigger and bigger machine learning models, and to train them, they use vast datasets, millions of terabytes, and more. And these huge models have unexpected capabilities, unexpected skills. Currently, the most widely known vast machine learning model is GPT-3, made by OpenAI company. But other corporations including Google, Microsoft, and Huawei are building even bigger models than GPT-3. But recently, also smaller companies, startups joined the race this month. In August 2021, a startup from Israel called AI-21 Labs showed even bigger model than GPT-3. The first emergent capability of giant AI models is generalizable intelligence. Whilst previously models were inflexible and specialized, now those giant models learn to generalize. AI researchers from Stanford are calling these new base layer of intelligence emerging from giant AI models foundation models that would provide generic capabilities for application in narrow domains like healthcare and law. Next major areas of application, according to AI researchers, will be general purpose, reasoning ability, robotics models, and models specialized in interaction with us, meatbags, I mean humans. Example of emergent AI capability is in-context learning, technique that GPT-3 model came up with, although developers of GPT-3 didn't explicitly teach it to do this. In other words, vastness of AI models not only can make science fiction stories to become reality, but also shows that humans increasingly will not be able to understand reasoning of AI, not to mention to be able to compete with AIs. In other news that could actually be the main AI news of the August 2021, Elon Musk's Tesla Corporation had AI Day, event where Elon described Tesla as a company with deep AI activity in hardware on the inference level and on the training level that can be used down the line for applications beyond self-driving cars, including a humanoid robot that Tesla is apparently, and I said it, building. The top 4 highlights from AI Day event of Tesla were 1. A human dancer representing a robot appeared on stage, and it was revealed that Tesla is building a humanoid robot called TeslaBot. Elon Musk envisions TeslaBot as a slave of humans who will do all boring stuff like grocery shopping. However, we have to mention also the opinion of some journalists and bloggers who claim that this TeslaBot is merely a joke from Elon Musk, who is known to joke around on Twitter, for example about Dogecoin, cryptocurrency, and other stuff. 2. Dojo, a vast supercomputer that is training giant AI models based on input from millions of cars. Dojo will be operational next year, according to Elon. 3. D1 chip to power above-mentioned supercomputer named Dojo. D1 will train neural networks and is made with 7-nanometer technology. 4. FSD, which stands for Full Self-Driving System, that nowadays is rather a driver-assisted system, but may soon become really self-driving, thanks to above-mentioned Dojo. 5. Solution to computer vision problems. Namely, Tesla is known that their cars use cameras and AI rather than radars. Tesla is known that their cars use cameras and AI rather than radars, so-called vision-only approach. In other words, Tesla tries to make self-driving AI with vision, so the same thing that us humans use to drive. Head of AI at Tesla, Andrej Karpathy, a Slav born in Slovakia who now lives in USA, was presenting the vision solutions of Tesla and said, "So, we are building, of course, all the mechanical components of the body, the nervous system, which has the electrical components, and for our purposes, the brain of the Autopilot, and specifically for this section, the synthetic visual cortex." Main problems of self-driving that Tesla is now working on are occlusions, when other cars are blocking view at intersections, and signs and markings that appear much earlier in the road. Tesla has data labeling team that is manually labeling data and employs 1,000 people. But also, Tesla is using auto-labeling and simulation to be able to label at scale. In other news, one of the world's largest makers of farm equipment is doubling down on self-driving tractors. John Deere agreed to pay $250 million for Bear Flag Robotics, a California startup that upgrades conventional tractors for full autonomy. Deere has offered GPS-enabled tractor guidance systems that aid a human driver for nearly 2 decades. Bear Flag has adapted self-driving technology developed by the automotive industry to help tractors roam agricultural fields safely without a driver. In other news, an algorithm received a patent for its invention. South Africa's Intellectual Property Office issued a patent that names an AI system as the inventor of a food container with unique properties, IP Watchdog reported. South Africa's Companies and Intellectual Property Commissioner named Stephen Tuller, who developed the AI system called Dabus, as the patent owner. Tuller submitted a number of applications to authorities in several countries, with help from the Artificial Inventor Project, an organization of patent attorneys that aims to promote development of algorithms that generate valuable innovations. Note, however, that this patent has not been recognized as inventor in other countries yet. In other news, the precious state-of-the-art model for playing vintage Atari games took advantage of a number of advances in reinforcement learning, or RL. The new champion is a basic RL architecture plus a trick borrowed from image generation. A team led by Florin Gorgianu, Tudor Barariu, and colleagues found that special normalization, a technique that limits the degree of variation between representations of similar inputs, improved an RL model's performance more than several recent innovations combined. The team included researchers at Bitdefender, DeepMind, Imperial College London, Technical University of Cluj-Napoca, and University College London. In reinforcement learning, a model observes its environment. Say, the Atari game Pong chooses an action based on its observation, such as moving the paddle, and receives a reward for a desirable outcome, like scoring a point. Learning in this way can be difficult. As a model selects different actions, its training data, or observations and rewards, change. Mutable training data poses a similar problem for generative adversarial networks, or GANs, where generator and discriminator networks influence each other even as they themselves change. Spectral normalization has been shown to help GANs learn by moderating these changes. It could also be beneficial in reinforcement learning. Sounds a lot like parenthood to me, that. In other news, NVIDIA is an American corporation that is making, among others, graphic processing units, or GPUs, for gaming personal computers, but also many artificial intelligence chips for learning. NVIDIA wants to buy British company ARM, but it looks like British authorities are resisting. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority, or CMA, has recommended a Phase 2 investigation because it's worried that NVIDIA would be incentivized to stifle innovation. We're concerned that NVIDIA controlling ARM could create real problems for NVIDIA's rivals by limiting their access to key technologies, and ultimately stifling innovation across a number of important and growing markets. This could end up with consumers missing out on new products, or prices going up, writes CMA Chief Executive Andrea Koskeli. In other news, Microsoft Super Corporation has released a pronunciation assessment service and software development kit, or SDK, which makes it easy to build linguistic applications that can provide the user with real-time feedback on their speech. Oh, I could do with some of that. Quote, pronunciation assessment evaluates speech pronunciation and gives speakers feedback on the accuracy and fluency of spoken audio. With pronunciation assessment, language learners can practice, get instant feedback, and improve their pronunciation so that they can speak and present with confidence. Educators can use the capability to evaluate pronunciation of multiple speakers in real time. End quote. In other words, People who learn foreign languages don't have to rely on humans to improve their pronunciation, but can just use software that uses one of AI microservices that Microsoft offers. Microsoft offers sample, not daily source code on how to connect pronunciation assessment in the following program languages: C#, C++, Java, Python, JavaScript, and Objective-C. It's funny that examples from the main programming language of other super corporations are not provided. Go of Google and Swift of Apple. If you don't want to develop your own software that uses pronunciation assessment service, you can use Offer of Pearson Company, a big partner of Microsoft that, among others, carries out Microsoft Tech exams for Microsoft. Quote, Pearson helps people around the globe learn foreign languages so that they can advance in academics and careers. When primary school students learn English, they often need more practice and feedback from teachers and parents that they can get. Pearson worked closely with Microsoft to help address this need, providing input on Microsoft Azure cognitive services, capabilities and development, such as pronunciation assessment. Pearson then added multiple AI-based services to its Longman Welcome English program, offering interactive instruction for students, support for teachers, affordability for parents, and a digital learning option during COVID-19. End quote. And now we're going to try something a little different on today's show. Yes, we have a voicemail from a producer. If you have any artificial intelligence-related questions for us, please don't hesitate to leave a voicemail and ask us. Here is said mentioned voicemail.
Hey, comic strip blogger. Try and say that 3 times fast. This is Hacker Mike shouting out to you from the Anchor platform, the ghetto of podcasting. I'm sorry I haven't discovered your podcast before today, but now I heard that you have one. And I saw you followed me on the toots, the tootagrams, what are they called? The mastodons. And, hey, just send you a voicemail. Going for a walk here in the overgrown path and recording my own episode this morning. I'll listen to your podcast. Check out the last couple of episodes of my podcast. I've actually edited it and removed the noise.
Well, there you have it, our first voicemail. It wasn't totally informative, but it's a start. Anyone else who would wish to get in touch, please do so via our anchor.fm page. And finally, the Knowledge Corner. What is AutoML? AutoML stands for Automated Machine Learning. The definition. Automated machine learning is the process of automating the tasks of applying machine learning to real-world problems. AutoML covers the complete pipeline from the raw data set to the deployable machine learning model. AutoML was proposed as an artificial intelligence-based solution to the ever-growing challenge of applying machine learning. The high degree of automation in AutoML allows non-experts to make use of machine learning models and techniques without requiring them to become experts in machine learning. Automating the process of applying machine learning end-to-end additionally offers the advantages of producing simpler solutions, faster creation of those solutions, and models that often outperform hand-designed models. AutoML has been used to compare the relative importance of each factor in a prediction model. Background info. Usually, companies are employing several folks at job position data scientist and pay them $100,000 a year or more to sift through big data to extract so-called features for machine learning and to build machine learning models. This is very costly and difficult, as some, not only big data, is really big. Terabytes per hour is not uncommon, but also the number of features, so attributes of data are often also big. Over 100, for example. With AutoML, companies use software that automatically detects features and trains models. Automatically or with minimal human input. Good example of AutoML is Amazon SageMaker Autopilot, a cloud-based product offered by Amazon AWS, the most successful public cloud company with the biggest market share, bigger than Google and Microsoft combined. Here is a quote from Amazon about SageMaker Autopilot. Quote, Amazon SageMaker Autopilot automatically builds, trains, and tunes the best machine learning models based on your data, while allowing you to maintain full control and visibility. Building machine learning or ML models requires you to manually prepare features, test multiple algorithms, and optimize hundreds of model parameters in order to find the best model for your data. However, this approach requires deep ML expertise. If you don't have that expertise, you could use an automated approach or AutoML. But AutoML approaches typically provide very little into the impact of your features for model predictions. As a result, you may have less trust in it because you can't recreate it and you can't learn how it makes predictions. Amazon SageMaker Autopilot eliminates the heavy lifting of building ML models and helps you automatically build, train, and tune the best ML model based on your data. With SageMaker Autopilot, you provide a tabular dataset and select the target column to predict, which can be a number such as house price, called regression, or a category such as spam / not spam called classification. SageMaker Autopilot will automatically explore different solutions to find the best model. You can then directly deploy the model to production with just one click. Or iterate on the recommended solutions with Amazon SageMaker Studio to further improve the model quality. End quote. In other words, AutoML helps humans to replace AI experts with AI. Ironic, isn't it? And that's it. Stay safe. Clump. Meat bag.
This love will never, ever end. I try. I cry, I've cried. I feathered up a little. this love will never, ever die. Protect is that I just won't try. And God, it gets me impossible to pretend. Your love will never falsify, my friend. Falsify, my friend. Falsify, my friend. Falsify, my friend.
Ah! The singularity is near!